All right, good morning out there. Let us make sure that we're operating properly. Oh my. Make sure that okay, we're good to go. All right. Good morning out there. Let me get things settled and hit the button properly. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. My name's Ryan. I get stuff from yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, similar venues, and try to make a few extra bucks online. This morning, scrub time. You'll see what I'm talking about in a few minutes. Had a really decent weekend selling some stuff. Wasn't able to go thrifting. I think Friday was completely a dud. And Saturday we were busy doing family stuff because it's Christmas time, and you do family stuff during Christmas time. And so that was what happened there. So I have did a little bit better, been more consistently listing. Say that 3 times fast, and it's been paying off. I've actually got some quote unquote death pile stuff I've put up for sale that has sold, but actually most of my listings that have sold I have put, I think everything has sold. I've got 7 sales we're gonna talk about. 5 of which were listed within the last 2 weeks, and some of them were death pile stuff. So that's been sitting around here. I've been ignoring for a little too long. And when you have as low volume as I do, and you start listing 5 things a day, and you're not thrifting 5 things a day, you start to find stuff, and it starts to sell, and you start to have a nice time. So let's jump into it. First sale was we'll do my first one. This Facebook Marketplace sale. A guy bought a big chunk of older Hot Wheels cars, and he was kind of after race car type things. These are all Matchbox and other sorts of there's a Jeep there, Matchbox and Hot Wheels stock car type cars. So he was after a handful of those. Happy to sell it to him. That was a $20 sale. They're going to ship. I think the guy lived about an hour away, and I think he was trying to finagle a way to meet up here, but it just wasn't, an hour drive isn't worth it for a $20 sale. I wasn't gonna meet him in between. Doesn't just ship them. And he's like, yeah, fine. So that's eventually what happened with those. So I'm gonna throw those in, and I may have a few bonus cars I'll toss in to them too. All right, so Hot Wheels, decent sellers, but you gotta be patient with them sometimes if you don't have a flea market. And usually the Hot Wheels that I find that sell the best, Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars that are more realistic, not the real crazy designs, that sort of thing. Those don't tend to move as well as muscle cars and Ferraris and Lamborghinis and that sort of thing. So something to think about there. All right, so on to the eBay sales. This is the one that's been sitting a while. Less than a year, but it's been around a little bit. This is a prayer book, weekday, Sabbath, and festival by some rabbi. This is in Hebrew. This is in Hebrew and English. This sold for $8. It was one of those, I'll give a chance on it type pickups. There was a lot of similar stuff that I picked up at Goodwill around this time. Some of them were really, really good sellers. And this was in the batch, and this didn't move as fast. But there was some other Hebrew. There was some Hebrew Bibles and that sort of thing that flipped really quickly. This wasn't one of them. So, but it's going out the door, and it's sale, and I need some sales right now. So we'll do that. All right. Next, what's next? 30, 50, 19. Okay. These 3 books. This is the Charm series by Tracy Wolf. And these 3 went for 18 total. So this is one of those that they're worth lotting up if you can find them. These were $2 a piece. That's $6, 18, 12. So I'll make $5 or $8 on these. So $2 is really, if you buy a book for $2, I think my line for, okay, I've got to get at least like 12 for it. For a single book, but that number kind of decreases if you can get a lot of them and combine them, and you can come out a little bit ahead too if you find a lot. So, of the same series, it helps out. They actually sell better because you got only being able to sell one of those books for $6. You're not going to make any money that way. Almost even if you get it free. But if you lot them up, you can figure it out. You can find a way to do it. All right. Next up is something. This is an interesting bit now. These are Dr. Seuss books that are now, these are discontinued. They weren't ever banned, but there was some content in them, and I think they started to sell slow. And whoever the publisher is like, we're not going to print those anymore. And they actually went through a time on eBay where they were banned. I had listed I had a Mulberry Street that got yanked. And these, like, when they first got banned, they skyrocketed in price, but eBay cut them off. And now they've settled down. So these 2 went for $18.50 together. Mostly because of condition. If you find a really good condition one of either of these, sometimes they can be worth upwards of $20 a piece. First edition Mulberry Street, just like Dr. Seuss first editions. Now you gotta be careful. You gotta know what you're looking for with Dr. Seuss first editions, because they can kind of fool you sometimes if you don't know the particulars. But like the 1930s Doctor Who first editions really can move just about any title. But you gotta know what you're looking for, because there's so many printings and so many runs. And the older they are, the better they sell. But like those first editions are really pretty good to get your hands on. But again, you gotta know what you're looking for, and because there aren't many of them, and there's some small details in certain printings and that sort of stuff that you gotta really look for to figure out what on the value on those. So there you go. And no, I don't know necessarily what I'm looking for, but when I see an old Dr. Seuss book that has some age to it, yeah, I'll look it up. So, but those two will sell. They'll sell by themselves. I probably could have I may have been able to get $10 a pop for them if I had done them individually. Coming out $18.50 for 2 of them, probably come out about the same after fees and all that sort of thing. So, and that was Death Pile stuff, by the way. I had one stash here and one stash there. I was like, wait a minute, let me put these together. Let's get them out the door. That's what's going to happen. All right, next is sporting goods. This is catcher's mitt. It's a youth catcher's mitt. A little old. It's a Louisville Slugger. Decent shape. Needs some playing, I guess is the best way to put it. But I think a kid will be happy with this one. It's a real pretty glove. That's a nice, the brown, nice dark brown to it. It's a really pretty glove, really good shape. So I'll be happy to get that out the door. This went for $30. So ball gloves do sell. Catcher's mitts do a little bit better. You can probably get a catcher's mitt for a couple bucks and flip it easier than a lot of other gloves. If you see a batch of gloves at a Goodwill, look through them. See if you can't find... I've found some nice gloves before, some of the higher end stuff. You just look up the model numbers and stuff are usually on there, so you can look them up and say, okay, is this one good or not? And sometimes you can come out and say, oh, wait a minute, this is a higher end glove. This one was the one that was $100-something at the store, and now it's $50 on eBay. I've done that a couple times. So you just kind of, the ones that are made with better leather, higher quality, that sort of stuff. You can trip over those occasionally, and even if they got a little age to them, if they're in good shape, they're still a good glove. So, and because my personal glove that I do throwing with the kids, I've had since high school, and that thing's 30 years old now. And is it? Yeah, I think that glove is first thing I ever bought with personal check was my baseball glove, and I still have it. It's a Mizuno. It's actually a softball glove. It's a Mizuno, a little oversized. Man, that thing's always been a good glove. So that's what I use and what I got. All right. So keep an eye out for gloves. Know your brands. If you're at an academy, one of the sporting goods stores or something, go through the glove aisle, and you can kind of get an idea of what the high-end gloves, maybe the models, or what they look like, or how they feel. And you can maybe help you. Okay, I need to look out for that sort of thing. So anyway, there you go. All right. Next up, Volkswagen Microbus. This is an official VW hat by Volkswagen Driver Gear. This went for $30. What's the tag on this? Original tag was $20. Still has a tag on it. But this is a real neat find. Volkswagen bus gear. Keep an eye out for it. People like bugs in Volkswagen buses. They like the shirts and stuff with them on there. It's one of those things that even if it's like a generic something, it's like, maybe look it up. Because if you can sell something like that, particularly like I'm not going to say this hat was rare, but there was out of the however many listings, there were only a few like this one. So this was a real neat find. Be happy to see this one. And that I got a couple weeks ago. Maybe a little bit longer. I think I actually spent a little more on it. I think that hat, most hats at my Goodwill were $2 or $3. This one I think was $3.50 or $4. And I grabbed this like, this one may be worth doing. I look at hats a lot. I skim through them to see if there's any. Goodwill has them at $2.50 a piece. I really like getting hats at less than $1 a piece, particularly sports teams and NASCAR hats. Maybe some beer hats occasionally, but because they do real well out at the flea market. And sometimes you can trip over something that does even better if you put it on eBay. So I've actually got a few other hats I need to pull next time I go out to the flea market and see if I can sell them out there. All right. Finally, the big sale. And this is a BOLO. Be on the lookout for this, because these things are selling pretty well, particularly now. And I've had good success of selling. I've sold a couple of these in the past. Trump the art of the deal. This is the 1980s version. Hardcover, dust jacket. This is not a first edition first printing. This is a first edition later printing from the 80s. But a first edition first print goes on upward of over $100. This one, $50. I have sold, I know at least one, I think two of these over the past few years. Similar range, $20 to $50 for a hardcover art of the deal. Paperback sell, the older paperbacks. Some of the reprints do okay, but not as well as the vintage original Donald Trump art of the deal. $50 for this one. This one's a clean copy. It is price clipped. It is not a book club edition. I don't know if they had book club. This one ever came out in book club edition, but it has no markings, nice and clean. Sometimes you can find them signed, and those go for a good bit more as well. He did book signings with these, and you see them pop up on eBay occasionally. Those go real nicely. So anyway, keep an eye out for these because they're worthwhile. And even with a little bit of wear on the dust jacket, you might be able to flip them. So anyway, that's today. So go sell stuff tomorrow. I hope to. Seeing as nothing else out there, y'all have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe.